I did. I was like, there's no way he wins this, and he did it. And I mean, if yesterday alone isn't just a microcosm of what he has been over these past 10 years, I don't know why. I mean, it was absolutely ludicrous sports television yesterday. It was ludicrous.
Hello and welcome back to the Countersport Golf Podcast. We have a very happy Kevin Bannon joining me today, and I really can't think why. But how are you feeling, Kevin?
Shattered, physically shattered emotionally. I mean, Jesus Christ. What were we all doing yesterday? Let's be realistic. What were we all doing? Why does this one man make us feel this way?
Well,
I don't know about you, but I've been through the ringer.
I was
He
going to
obviously
say,
consists of eyes playing 18 holes.
if you've been living under a rock, or you just don't like golf like Darren, you won't know. But Rory McIlroy finally has his green jacket. He finally has the career Grand Slam after his 17th attempt at winning the Masters. He finally won it in a playoff, no less, against fellow Brit Justin Rose, who we're going to get onto in a bit, but what a performance by him as well. But there's only one place to start, really. And that's with Rory, I suppose. W winner, with Rory. I mean, it's finally over. We can finally stop talking about him come April, saying, "Is this his year? Will he finally get over that hump?" He's won the Masters, -11. Had a bit of a rubbish day if you just look at the scorecard in like by itself, but he did what he needed to do in the previous three. He's got the green jacket. Kevin, we saw what it meant to him on that 18th green. He sort of broke down in tears, and who can blame the man?
I mean, when we did our preview last week, I said the way Rory wins this is if he's out in front early and just maintains the pace, or if he comes from nowhere, a bit kind of like what Justin Rose did today. I was like, there's no way he wins this, and he did it. And I mean, if yesterday alone isn't just a microcosm of what he has been over these past 10 years, I don't know why. I mean, it was absolutely ludicrous sports television yesterday. It was ludicrous. I mean, from the very first hole where he double bogeys on his
Yeah, the
first
double.
hole, double bogey and Bryson birdies to bring it back, and then Bryson birdies the next hole
Yeah.
to go ahead, and suddenly half an hour into of this 4.5 hour day, he's lost a 2-shot lead and is behind, and then proceeds to go birdie, and then get his lead back, birdie his first 2 holes of the back nine, and then look, it's a great day, so you don't want to dwell in the negatives. But then, like, the collapse happened. Let's not let's not kind of sugarcoat the like 13. Like, what is going on 13 with the little wedge shot into the creek, and then, I mean, my God. The approach on 15 is just one of the most ludicrous shots.
It's just silly.
The height he gets on it to whip it around the trees. And again, he misses the eagle putt, which would have won him the tournament. This is the thing. Like, this is what makes it so addictive and draining. And it's like he's pulled off this miraculous shot to give himself an eagle chance when he's just hit possibly the worst shot of his career 20 minutes ago. And he misses the eagle putt, but puts the obviously gets birdie to go one up, and then all of a sudden you're like, Jesus, Justin Rose is
Where's he come from?
absolutely like Bryson beside him is just even collapsed even more. Like Bryson's head just went completely. And then he birdies it. So he has to. He knows coming into the last three holes because Rose is on an absolute heater that he has to birdie one of the last three holes, and he gets it on 17. With again the approach shot on 17 is
Brilliant shot again.
unbelievable as well. Another sort of hot, really high whipped one, and he knocks in for birdie, and then you're thinking, right, four shots. All you need now, coming down 18, is four shots. Smokes it down the middle of the fairway. And greenside bunker.
Bunker.
And then, and then, and then he sticks it to 5 feet. And I don't know about you. Did you have any confidence that he was going to knock in that 5-footer on 18?
Not a chance.
No.
Not a chance. I mean, we talked about it before we started recording, didn't we? It was the most obvious 5-foot miss from a potential Grand Slam winner I think you've ever seen.
But I've watched it back again today, this morning before we record. He's so quick in terms of putting the ball down, standing up, and hitting the shot. And he spoke about it afterwards, where he was like, he was nervous. He was nervous, particularly beforehand. And how couldn't you be? And then the playoff again, like the playoff. So when it gets to the playoff, I text into one of my group chats saying, "There's no way he wins this anymore," because Rose has just.
He's got the momentum then, doesn't he, Rose?
He does, but also I do wonder if it helped that Rose hadn't played for 45
Yeah,
minutes.
true. Yeah.
And because he was the third last group, fourth last group, I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, something like that.
And whereas Rory maybe just didn't have time, just says, right, we need to do this.
Yeah.
And then again, tee shot, great tee shot, clears the bunker, and then his approach into 18 again is just magical. After seeing, because Rose's approach is
Rose's was good. Yeah,
from the right side as well. Because Rose's tee shot wasn't the best, and he gets a great shot into it. Rory's outdriven him by about 40 yards as well. So and he sticks it in, and it's an unbelievable shot to 3 feet. It's the longest 3-foot putt I've ever seen in my entire life, by the way.
Yeah.
It really is. And to be fair, again, Rose is just a bit unlucky with his putt. He makes a good stick of it, and then it's all over. And as he said, I don't know if you saw the press conference after, as Rory said himself, what are we going to talk about next year when Augusta runs around? What's the storyline? Because this is it. This is it. This is why you sort of watch sports and get hooked on it. Yesterday was just. We haven't even talked about Ludwig Oberg being a co-leader with Rose and Rory on 15 and 16. There was a three-way time when he was on 16. And it was the most incredible day of sport I've seen in a long time. And I think it helps. And I don't want to do this because he's obviously probably the best golfer in the world. But it'd be different if this was Scheffler.
It would.
It's different because it's Rory, because of everything that goes on. Even if you take last year, what went on at the US Open, and it's him and Bryson again.
Yeah.
Again. And it was just incredible. And they said it on the TV coverage yesterday, and I agree with them. It's like I fancy him to win another one this year. Like the pressure is off now.
He can just go out and play
He
now,
can,
can't he?
it doesn't matter now. As Nick Faldo was obviously keen to mention, he has more majors than Rory still. I mean, Jesus. But he's only one off him now. I mean,
Yeah.
and I look, I this is very sort of this is a very sort of I don't know, Sky Sports Saturday social hot take, but like he is top five all time for me now.
Well,
Like
he has to be because he's
he
got the
has to
Grand
be,
Slam now.
yeah. And he, I think, now has surpassed Faldo and Sevi as the best European golfer of all time for me. For me, because and again, he couldn't just do it. He couldn't just. I was saying this right. I was watching this last night and before it went into the playoff, and I said to my significant other, who has rode this with this journey with me all day yesterday, and I said to her, I was like, he can't just he can't
Win
just
it
win it.
normally. Yeah.
He can't just win it. Like he can't just win it. He has to miss a 5-footer to take it to a playoff.
That's what I was gonna say. I think this is the most Rory way
Oh,
he could have won the Masters. And to be honest, I wouldn't have had it any other way. I don't think he would have had it any other way.
literally, I saw a tweet when he doubled the first. And you go, and it was like, if you can't take Rory double bogey in the first, then
Yes,
you
yeah,
don't deserve him eagling the 15th on Saturday.
yeah.
But so full disclosure, I was back in Ireland this weekend, and so I was flying home yesterday, so I missed his sort of 7, 8, 9
Yeah.
portion. So I was watching the first bit in the airport, and then watching the rest of it. And so I got home, sat home when he was on 14. So his blow up I was watching in the car.
Oh, and you
Oh,
just,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ Almighty! And literally just going home, being like, "Oh my God!" It's got like, so when I got off the plane, everything was, it was great. Everything was
That's fine.
rosy. It was rosy.
Ah, good point.
He was
Yeah.
4 clear. He was 4 clear. He was
Yeah.
5 clear at one point. He was 5 clear when he birdied the 10th. Oh Jesus! I'm getting stressed again. But again,
Reliving
look.
it all over again.
But look, the positives, like we mentioned, the two shots, the 15 and the 17 are just. I think the shot on 15 is actually better,
Oh, I think that's, yeah, the
but particularly
technically more
given the
impressive one.
circumstances as
Yeah, yeah,
well. And we didn't even mention the shot on 10 where he drops the club
yeah.
behind him after
True.
and, and he ends up birdieing the hole. There's so many little moments, even the chip in on Saturday for the eagle. Um, And it's funny if you take yesterday out of it, which I know it sounds stupid, but if you take yesterday out of it, he had two bad holes all week,
Yeah.
in the first 3 rounds, two bad holes, um, and that was Thursday, the 15 and 17, where he double bogeyed both of them, and then the rest of it, he was brilliant. He was so consistent, but like you said, he couldn't have done it any other way. I'm looking back at myself now at last Tuesday. I think he's like, what? Of course he was gonna. If he was gonna, he wasn't just gonna
No,
win by 6.
couldn't do it simply, could he? Jesus.
But yeah, it was just everything about yesterday was just pure entertainment. And I think, look, even if you don't like golf, even which I get, it's not for everyone. And even if you don't know the story with McElroy and everything that's gone on around it, I don't know how anyone could watch that yesterday and not just be completely engrossed by the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
said,
yeah,
it's sport at its very finest. Like this is why this stupid thing exists.
yeah. That's the perfect way of putting it. And as much as we could talk about Rory, I think for another
I know,
hour or so.
we're, we're finished.
Let's be fair. Let's touch on Justin Rose, who had a stupendous final round. Really in contrast, I suppose, to Rory. Like he said, he sort of came out of nowhere and really just gave himself a chance, which is all you can do when you're coming from that far back. I think he had the lead at one point.
Mm.
It was really topsy turvy at the top, and unfortunately for him, Rory just hit a better shot, a better
Yeah,
approach shot in the playoffs. His approach shot was good. It just didn't
yeah,
check. It carried on bouncing further past the hole, which we saw him make the long
yeah.
putt.
On
Not
18, yeah.
Yeah, not too long before that, but he just couldn't quite get it in, and obviously the rest is history, as they say. But a big shout out to Justin Rose, because that is in like
Mm.
solidarity. That is one of the most impressive rounds at Augusta I think I've ever watched. Just a shame he came up
Yeah, I
short in
mean,
the
he
end.
shot a 66 on a Sunday at Augusta. Like it's incredible. And I halfway through the round, he was 7 behind McIlroy at
Yeah,
one point. Um, he was incredible. Like the back nine is just ridiculous. And the putt on 18, like the stones to sink
oh, the
that putt on
putt on
18
18 was
is
tremendous.
insane. It's a 20-footer that
Oh yeah,
he absolutely sticks into the back of the cup. And again, to be fair to him, like I I wouldn't have mind seeing Road like if he was with okay, let's be realistic. If he was with Bryson in that playoff, like come on. You know, come on. Like obviously I wanted McIlroy to win. But if Rose had won, it wouldn't have been like I'm looking at the
yeah.
league here and like within 3 and 4 places there's Patrick Reed, Scotty Scheffler and Bryson. Like can you imagine if it you know what I mean? Like anyway. Uh anyway, and yeah, he was just incredible, and he was look, he's obviously disappointed afterwards. But it is that thing where we mentioned it before, like he just he made the shot. He just
Yeah,
didn't make it well enough. And
no.
the tee shot on 18, like we were saying, like Rory outdrove him by about 40 yards, like easily. And he put himself in the position, and Rose just made it slightly more difficult for himself. I don't know whether he was trying to force it to get a bit more length on it, because he knew he'd have to he'd he knew obviously Rory would outdrive him, so he wanted to
Yeah,
put
yeah.
himself in a good position. Um, but again, the approach shot is brilliant. It's an amazing shot in, and like we said, he's just a bit unlucky with the putt. And I mean that's back to back majors now. He's finished second. He finished second in the Open to Schauffele last year. Second time he's lost a playoff in Augusta.
Yeah, Sergio Perez 2017. Sergio Perez?
I
Garcia. I'm thinking
was
F1.
how was
Sorry.
the F1 last weekend?
Yeah, my it's 9 a.m. I'm allowed to
um,
Sergio Garcia in 2017 as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
Sergio. It is it is strange to think he only has one major.
Does have an Olympic gold though.
He does, he
So
does, he does. But do they really care about the Olympic golds? Genuinely, I don't know.
I think they do, but not. I think it's maybe on the same level, if not a little bit below the players.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. Well, it's still relatively new,
Oh
isn't it? So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
But
it's one of them.
like, I said, what? Like yeah, he has one major, but he always seems to be sort of there. And I mean, what is he? He's 44 now, right? So for him, from his perspective, the next few years, he certainly we saw it yesterday. He obviously has the ability to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just how many times have we talked about like just look at the amount of different fellas who you'd say that about. Like the
Well,
amount.
Rory was
Oh,
was one of them.
this is the thing, but again, you're looking at the leaderboard here. You Patrick Reed, who kind of came from nowhere. You've Scotty Scheffler finished fifth. Like, and it doesn't feel like a story.
Yeah.
Sunjay, you've Bryson, Ludwig Goldberg was there as well. You've Schauffele, Zach Johnson. Okay, maybe that was just a. But you've all these boys, and then you've the lads who didn't even perform that well.
Yeah.
Um, it's like the I know we sort of say that Scotty and Rory are sort of like the two that are just that bit above, and then the second cluster, I think, is just it's so packed.
It's packed, isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
So if Rory or Scotty aren't on it or whatever, they're just not feeling it, or whatever the case may be. Kind of like with, I say, Scotty wasn't feeling it, wasn't on it. He finished fourth.
Finish fourth for the Masters.
Yeah,
That's an
yeah,
off day.
yeah. That's an off day, literally. But yeah, I mean, you have to feel for him because how many times like a 66 on the final day on a Sunday when also like obviously the pressure was off him obviously, but when the pressure did start to come on in terms of the back nine where you're like, oh, actually, do you know what? He can act. He can
There's a
really stick
chance
some.
here. Yeah,
Yeah, you're telling me there's a chance. Um,
yeah.
he nailed it, and like I said, the put on 18 was majestic, really. And then he just, as you said, just he hit a good shot. It just wasn't good enough in the
Yeah.
playoff. I mean,
It's
there's not much. I again, I felt from his interview afterwards, like clearly he's disappointed, but I think there's a bit of an acceptance. Look, there's just I did as much as I could, and it just didn't come.
I think if he had to lose to someone in a playoff as well, he wouldn't have minded it being. Well, obviously nobody wants to lose, but you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. I
maybe
think.
softens the blow a little bit.
I mean,
Just
look,
for
they're all aware as well. Like,
yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah.
also, I don't know. Did you see Bryson afterwards saying, "Oh, Rory didn't speak to me
He didn't
during that."
talk to me the whole.
What are we doing? Who cares? Who cares?
He had a
Sorry,
Masters to win. He had a Masters to
am
win.
I getting so
It's
worked up about? Maybe because I don't.
you don't
I
like Bryce.
well, that's way too strong, Liam. But yes,
No,
and
I get where he's coming from, but I also get the fact that Rory, this is the best chance he ever had to
mm,
finish off his dream, and he wasn't gonna let some American YouTuber try and get in his head.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I like Bryson, but you
Hey,
know,
maybe make the house bigger next time so you can chip over.
well,
Didn't maybe put some water around the price on it.
from
No,
winners to losers, we
yes,
have to talk about some of the negatives
we do.
of the Masters. And before we get into, um, we're each gonna, or each, me and Kevin are both gonna single out one or two that we thought should have been there, but really just had a bad weekend, and try and explain why. I want to single out somebody, and it is unfair to single out somebody, but Ludwig Aberg had a brilliant tournament, and
Yeah,
then for some reason turned into me on the 18th hole,
honestly.
and just I don't even know what to call
Yeah,
it. He drove
it's
it
it's
into the bunker and then clipped the edge of the bunker on his next shot, and then went from that bunker to the greenside bunker, and then hit it from that bunker over the hole, and it was
yeah.
so
I mean,
weird to watch because he, like I said, he'd been very, and you said he'd been very good all tournament. He'd even held the lead at one point, and just to see the blow up that quickly happen in that short space of time. I mean, look, it happens. This is a really high pressure environment, and there's going to be cracks. But to see, I think he missed out on about $700,000 because of that
mm.
blow up hole on 18. So you do have to
Well,
feel for
I
him.
mean, he also bogeyed 17 as well. So
Yeah, exactly.
he
Yeah.
literally he went bogey double bogey to finish his round.
We're saying this. He still finished seventh,
He
which is
did.
very very
It's,
respectful. He finished top 12. He gets an invite back next year, but it could have been just a little bit better for him. So you do have to feel for him.
yeah,
Um,
I thought when the three of them were at 10, I
yeah,
was like, I was like, okay, this might be a bit of
there's an
trouble.
outsider. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and I wasn't just saying because I sort of picked him as my as
yeah,
my second.
sure.
Uh, but look, we'll get on to my other pick now, as in
Yes.
terms of disappointments. Yeah, I mean it's hard not to think of Lowry, isn't it? I mean, he was in a good position. He was in a great
Yeah.
position. He birdied the second to go 6 under. And then talk about an over collapse. Just yeah. I mean, he finished +4, having started the day at -5. Um, to know what it was. You saw him after Saturday being interviewed saying he's had a poor round. You know, he's like, just don't ask me about. I know you're going to ask me about Rory. Don't ask me about Rory.
Don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had he was like, I think we should get half an hour. So I think he was clearly Larry. We've seen he can get quite emotional
Yeah.
both ways.
Yeah.
And it can be really useful for him. But sometimes you
I think
can
it cost him.
yeah.
Yeah, this week.
And
Yeah.
I mean he could have easily finished top 10, top 5 even for me, and just blows up. But to be fair to him, he looked all right at the end when he was giving Rory that massive
The
hug as
bear
you.
hug. Yeah. Yeah.
And look, obviously he's happy. He will be disappointed, because I mean, like he shot 9 over yesterday.
Yeah.
But I still think, particularly obviously the British Open, where he's won it in Portrush before, he'll be there or thereabouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see about the other ones, but really disappointed from his sort of perspective. Yeah.
Well, from one disappointment to another, I'm going for somebody that missed the cut.
Yeah.
Didn't even
Okay.
make it to the latter stages. It was one of my picks for somebody to watch.
Hmm.
Ryder Cup sensation,
Yeah.
if you like. Bobby McIntyre, the
Yeah.
+6. I don't think his weekend really got going with the consistency that he would have wanted. There's a very good golfer in there. He's still relatively young, I guess, for a golfer. He's
Hmm.
28, so definitely better days ahead. But I just nothing really clicked for him on the green. I mean, he said it himself. His putting was abysmal, and that's a pretty good way of putting it. I wouldn't disagree with that. It seems to be at Augusta, either your putting lets you down, or you just have one or two really bad blow up holes, and a bit like Lowry, I guess. The putter was just really cold.
Hmm.
For a lot of it, didn't really get going. We all know what momentum's like at the Masters. We saw it with Rose. He birdied
Yeah.
one, then birdied two, then birdied three, and it just sort of snowballs. And if that goes the other way, you're not going to be in for a good weekend. And unfortunately for Bobby McIntyre, that's what happened. But he'll be back. He'll get a top 10 in the next couple of years, I think. I'm not gonna go, like you said, full soccer Saturday social and say, yeah, Bobby McIntyre's gonna get a green jacket in the next
Guaranteed.
3 years, but he'll be in a
Yeah.
top 10, I think. So plenty of promise for Bobby McIntyre.
Yeah. What one? I'm sort of, and again, it's hard to go disappointment, but some, and to be fair, we barely kind of touched on him on our preview, but Colin Morikawa, he finished 3 under. He just never really looked like making a go of it.
No.
When we know he can as well.
Yeah.
This is the thing, and we've seen him do it. And again, he's quite young, and I always think he's going to be a threat every single major tournament, because obviously he has pedigree winning them, and when he's on his game, it's the mistakes really that he doesn't really make. And look, he finished 3 under, but I think he'd be disappointed that he didn't have a proper go at it himself. So yeah, he'd be my second one, kind of not as big obviously as Lowry, but as a guy who's very much capable of winning this tournament.
Yeah, I think
Just
yeah.
just never really sort of stood up and delivered this weekend.
That's the good way of putting it, isn't it? It's not that he had a bad
No.
tournament necessarily. Is that he could have had a much better one, and
Mm.
he'll be like Bobby McIntyre. He'll definitely. I'd
Yeah.
say I'm more confident of him winning a
Yeah.
Masters soon than
What is it? You
McIntyre.
love Bob McIntyre.
I love Bob McIntyre. I just love a lefty. You can't not love a
Yeah,
lefty. Before I get on to my second one, speaking of a lefty, I didn't. We were talking about it before we started. Bubba Watson finished 14th on
I
-3
know.
as well.
What
Did
happened?
not. I
Is
just
he still,
did not
is
see
he
that
still
at all
playing?
during the coverage. So
Honestly, yeah.
fair play to Bubba. Not seen him for a while to
No,
make
not
top
at all.
15 at a Masters. Good
Hey, what is
going.
it? He knows the course.
He knows the course is built for a lefty, is what they
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
Um,
Where'd Phil finish?
let me just get it up because I'd like to mention it. I'll miss the cut on +5.
Oh,
Ah, that's a shame.
pity. A pity for such a stand-up guy.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Somebody who didn't miss the cut but finished on +6 is my next pick. Minwoo Lee.
Yeah,
Just
you picked. That was James's pick, wasn't it?
yeah,
For an outsider. Yeah.
just the sort. He had the penalty,
Mm.
obviously, for the infraction with the ball movement. I think it was, which is a load of woke nonsense. In my opinion, we all get breakfast balls and mulligans. Why can't the pros?
Why can't the pros of Augusta?
But no, there's not really much to say, to be fair, because it's just one of those, isn't it? It's a lot learned, I think,
Mm.
is the best outlook on it. He's still he's still quite young as well. He's only 26. He's not been round Augusta that many times, so I mean he made the cut to get to Sunday. That's an
Yeah.
achievement in itself. Just a shame that a +6 followed, but there's certainly a lower score in his future. I think that's safe to say for Minwoo Lee. So
Yeah.
let him cook, as his fans
I,
like to say. I know you don't like
uh,
that. I
well,
find
no,
it
it's not. It was
hilarious.
James that was there. I still think it's like you're never gonna just beat the classic in the whole Tiger, but
In the hole.
um, of course the Bryce. Oh, light the
Like the
candle.
candle.
Oh, Jesus. But of course the patrons at Augusta would never, of course,
Patrons, yes.
would never partake in such disgusting behavior.
Apart from the
Um,
18th hole where Rory missed
yeah,
the putt left and there was an American that shouted really loudly on the broadcast.
yeah.
But
Other than
other than
that,
that, the patrons would never. We can't call them fans. They're
yeah, no.
patrons.
Of course. I know because I know we're wrapping up now, but this it just makes this whole year so interesting now.
Yeah.
It really does because I know people have gone over the top and said he's gonna win all four.
Grand Slam in 1 year.
Yeah, like he's not right. He's not.
Oh.
But sure, I mean, he's won at Quail Hollow before, and he opens in Port Royal, like his home
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
I mean, he's set up to win one of them, I think, because it's there for him. I mean, as an Irishman, if it was him and Shane coming down on the Sunday at Port
Oh,
Royal,
I don't know what you would do.
I actually don't know what I'd do. I don't know. Can they both win, please? Can we split the claret jug in
Golf's
two?
the winner.
Yeah, the sport, the island, the island of Ireland has just won.
Yeah.
But I will say, I mean that's for me. People may disagree. That's fine. But yesterday for me is one of the best Irish sporting moments of all time. Um, First Irishman to win a Masters, obviously Grand Slam and all, but just in terms of you'd know from being from a sort of small nation where
Oh yeah.
every now and then you produce global sports superstars. These moments don't come around that often.
Nope.
So when they do, it's great to see like on a global stage. And yeah, look, it sounds cheesy and kind of corny, but you're not gonna forget.
God
You're
no.
That's not something you're gonna forget. Um, Again, I'm drained from last night. I'm drained. I don't know about you. I woke up exhausted, and it's not because we're recording first thing in the morning. It's like it took me about an hour and a half to get to sleep last night. After it, I was lying there like, Jesus.
Damn, you did it.
Like I know we're not supposed, but he's actually fucking done it.
Yeah, yeah. At least Ireland got one Grand Slam this year. There we go.
Do you know what, Liam? I thought you were better than that. I thought you were better than that. I thought you were better than that. And I'm not even gonna
He's not
respond to
rising to it. Okay, I respect that because I certainly would have.
that.
Well, in traditional counter sport fashion, I'm gonna do our usual and give way too early predictions.
Oh my God! Right, here we
Because
go.
I'm not sure how many golf podcasts Darren's gonna let us do this year. So, I want your major winners for the rest of the year. And no, you can't just say Rory for all of them.
Okay.
And your Masters winner for next year as well.
For next year.
Yeah, your early Masters winner.
Jesus,
We're
Liam.
going really early. I'm giving you
Right.
no prep time, but you've got to go now.
Right. Okay. U.S. Open at Oakmont. Let's just keep it simple and go Scotty.
The safe pick. Yeah.
Because I think we talked about it. He's kind of like Tiger in his peak, and he'll have to win. He has to win one at least.
Has to win one. Yeah.
Okay, this is completely optimistic. I'm gonna go. So yeah, the PGA at Quail Hollow. I am going to go. I'm going to go Rory. I'm going to go Rory.
Back-to-back majors.
Yeah.
Back-to-back majors. I mean, if there's
I-
anybody that could do it, it wouldn't surprise me.
And I'm going to go Shane.
I knew you were going to say Shane.
I'm going to go Shane Lowry from Fort Rush. So 2 majors for McIlroy and 1 for Shane Lowry. I said it was the optimistic pick.
You did, to be
I
fair.
can't. And then for the Masters next year, Jesus Christ, I can't pick McIlroy again. Do you know what? I'm going to pick someone who's never won it.
Okay.
I'm going to pick someone who's never won the Masters. Let's go Colin Morikawa.
Colin Morikawa.
Yeah.
A better run. No, I like that.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. Even though we all know it's probably going to be Scotty in the end.
If you don't say it too loud, it won't happen. What about you? Go on.
The PGA, I think that's the one Scotty wins. I think he sort of bounces back from, I say Masters disappointment.
He finished
fourth. but the Masters disappointment, in a sense, and sort of gets his momentum back and wins it quite hollow. The US Open, I don't know why I have a sneaky feeling one of the Live guys wins it.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was thinking that. I was thinking that. Yeah.
I'm not gonna go rogue and say like Tyrrell Hatton or something like that.
Tyrrell Hatton led on Thursday for a bit.
John Rahm had a good Masters, but I don't know if Liv's competitive enough for him to really build that momentum going into a major. Maybe it's bias, but I think Bryson is in with a good shout of going back to back at US Open, well, back to back, but winning the US Open, and then the Open in Portrush. Well, I'm gonna stick with what I had in my head when you were making yours. I'm going Tommy Fleetwood.
Okay.
I think he had a solid weekend this weekend.
Another man who gave Rory a massive hug.
Oh yeah, that was really nice to see.
Yeah, Tommy. Yeah, I'd like to see Fleetwood win it.
A -2, almost in the top 20. Pretty solid weekend at Augusta, all things considered, and why
Links
not?
course. Yes. Links course.
Exactly. Fairway Jesus is his nickname.
Oh,
we'll go with Tommy Fleetwood for that, and then Masters.
come on.
Oof.
You're the one who posed the question. You can't be complaining.
No, I'm not complaining. There's just too many good options to pick from
Yeah.
that aren't Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
um, there's so many people. I'm looking at the leaderboard now. Didn't even realize Jason Day finished
Yeah.
tied 8th. That's something from him to really come back from the
Are
nether
you
regions for a
are
while.
you, are you a Max Homer type of guy?
I'm not. No, not really a Max Homer fan. Um, you know what? I'm gonna also go for somebody who's not
Yeah. It
uh,
keeps it, doesn't
won
it?
a Masters, and somebody who actually did finish within the top 5 this year. So there's only
Are you
2
going?
it could be.
I'm looking. I was like, okay,
Oh
who's he
no,
gonna
there's
go?
3 technically. Bryson was
Yeah.
was tied for as well, but it's not Bryson, and it's not Justin Rose. It's Sung Jae Im.
Oh, okay.
If
That's
he can put
rogue.
together a even more solid round than he did
Mm,
this year. I mean, to be fair, usually -7 is well
is
up
a good
there
score. Yeah.
in terms of winning the Masters. We've seen
Mm,
people win the Masters with less, so
yeah.
why not? We'll go
Yeah.
Sung Jae Im just to be different. Have
I,
another
if we
Asian winner of the Masters, which would be really nice to see
if
along
we
with
do
Hideki.
another Masters preview pod next year, I'm gonna see if I can remember that you picked Sun Jae Im to win it.
When he's fallen off a cliff and he's
Yeah.
outside the top 250 in the world.
Yeah.
Whatever's happened there. Or does Tiger come back and win it again now?
Oh no! Oh, right. Come on now.
Tiger does not come back and win it again.
We've had enough. We've that would send me over the edge.
Tiger can stick to his TGL. Is that
TGL, yeah,
the
the
indoor
indoor
format
golf,
now?
the indoor golf. Yeah,
Hitting a 99-yard shot when the
tomorrow's
shot is
golf
150.
live or something
That's what
nonsense
it. Yeah.
like that.
But yeah,
Tune in this Wednesday.
to see 8 pro golfers hit a ball at a screen.
We're back. We're back. Now that
But
we've
yeah,
got nonsense out of the way, the real stuff can begin.
exactly. Who
Oh,
cares about the
also, we should
Masters?
we should probably say actually before we leave, we gave our predictions to Ryder Cup here.
Oh, it is Europe. I'm not going to say America, am I?
Well, I am. I'm going to say America.
My conscience won't let me say
Yeah, fair.
America. It's away this year, isn't it?
It is. It's
It's in
in
America this year.
Black Page, I think it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Luke Donald supremacy.
Luke. Christ. You know when a Ryder Cup rolls out, you just think of all these players that you never really think of,
Yeah.
and then it's like Luke Donald. Like the last time I thought about him was the last Ryder Cup.
Yeah. Hey, did a good job, you know?
Yeah.
Can't really judge the man. But yeah. We might see you again for another golf podcast. We might not.
Yes.
But if you have enjoyed listening to our ramblings and our emotional takes on what's been a very entertaining weekend at Augusta, if you're watching on the YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe, comment what you'd like to see in this all sports slot for the podcast. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a rating, share it everywhere. I've been Liam Grice, joined by Kevin Bannon. Thank you very much for joining me.
Cheers, Liam.
And we're going to go and recover from an emotional weekend at Augusta. Thanks for listening.